Hey guys, we have a new moon in Gemini cycle to talk about today. The new moon in Gemini is occurring approximately 7:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday, May 30th, 2022 at 9 degrees and 3 minutes exactly of the sign of Gemini, where the sun and the moon are coming into alignment, bringing us our new moon cycle. Now, the new moon itself is not making a whole bunch of aspects particularly. However, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is making a lot of aspects in the sky, is currently retrograde. This whole cycle is going to have a lot to do with reevaluating a lot of things. And actually, because of a square to Saturn, things may seem a bit slower this cycle than they did the last cycle, even though we're talking about a Gemini cycle. So let's get into the report, you guys, and see how all of this is breaking down for us and what may be unfolding for us as we go through our new moon in Gemini this year. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Aubrey, and this is my analysis of our energy for this new moon in Gemini cycle that we have present today, happening today, and unfolding all month long, because this is a new moon cycle, and whatever energy is present in the blueprint of the chart at the moment of the new moon is what is growing, and what is being seeded and what is growing, coming into fruition all month long. So of course, this is a new moon cycle, which means that we are in the seed planting phase of the month. This is the time when we really want to put some work into our visualizations and our manifestations and our intentions for what we want to see bloom and grow over the course of this cycle, as with all new moons. But that being said, let's talk about the specifics that we have unfolding in terms of the placement of planets going on for this Gemini cycle. And it's interesting, like I said, and I'll talk about this as we get further into this report. But normally a Gemini cycle, this is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury is the fastest moving planet. And so a lot of times things are very fast paced and busy during a Gemini cycle. But this Gemini cycle, actually, we may be dealing with feeling like our progress or our growth is sort of stifled or halted in some type of way, or things are just like moving slower than we might like. So, and that's because we have Mercury, number one, retrograde. Mercury is the ruler of the sign of Gemini. So when we have a new moon lining up in the sign of Gemini, it's really important to pay attention to what is going on with the planet Mercury. And Mercury is not only retrograde, but also in an almost exact square to Saturn in Aquarius, Taurus, and Aquarius, these fixed signs. Mercury is currently at 27 degrees of Taurus, has retrograded from Gemini back into Taurus. And so actually, Saturn, the ruler of time, Mercury, the fastest moving planet, ruling like speed, going retrograde, things may feel a bit stifled or held back, or like they're moving at a snail's pace this cycle, you guys. So I wanted to start the report by just like saying that, in case you don't make it to the part of the report with me where I'm actually talking more in specifics about this. But anyways, let's start talking. I'm actually going to start with the Sabian symbols today, of the position of the new moon itself and also the earth, because I feel like this is sort of setting the stage for us and giving us sort of a nice little like groundwork on which we can lay the rest of the aspects moving forward to help us understand, what this energy may be bringing to us and looking like as it unfolds this cycle. So for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And if you're unfamiliar with the Sabian symbols, what they are is a group of symbols that describes each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. Whenever there's a planet at a specific point making an aspect, we can look to the symbol, read the symbol, and it just gives us like an additional layer of clarity through which to interpret that aspect. It sort of gives us like a symbolic overlay through which we can add some insight into our interpretation of the energetics, and just a little bit more than just the basic aspect themselves. So I always, as an astrologer, am reading the Sabian symbols alongside the aspects for that specific reason. And because of that, you guys, I also need to say that when I'm talking about degree placements in the context of Sabian symbols, I'm always rounding up a degree, because when we're reading the symbol, we're looking at the energy, the wave of energy that is incoming, that is beginning to manifest, that is beginning to express, and not the energy, the wave of energy that is like on its way out and that is dissipating and that is fading away. So when I'm looking at the chart for today, I'm going to be looking at the new moon at 10 degrees of Gemini. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the exact position of the new moon is at 9 degrees and 3 minutes of Gemini. But since it's already in that 9-degree range, I'm going to be rounding up, looking at the 10 degrees, because that is the energy that's being pulled in right now, beginning to express. And when we read the Sabians, that's just how it's done. So I'm looking today at the new moon happening at 10 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is an airplane performing a nosedive. So this is telling me with the new moon happening at this degree, like right off the bat, before we get into the other energetics, that regaining a sense of control in one way or another is likely to be a theme that is coming up throughout the course of this month. An ability to sort of, on one hand, be able to like play with or defy gravity in some type of a way while maintaining a sense of being in control and being able to still pull ourselves out of these difficult situations. We may really feel like we're being weighed down or pulled down in one way or another, but simultaneously, the lesson that we are gaining, the experience that we're gaining, the wisdom through the experience that we're gaining this cycle is about how to pull ourselves out and regain control of a situation that may feel like it's going off the rails a little bit or like it's sort of spinning out of control. Situations, this cycle may seem a bit headed for disaster, but we have to remember that the point of this is to show us that we are actually still in control, and at the right moment, we can pull out and really regain control of our situation and save the day in one way or another. Also, this could represent this specific symbolism, the airplane performing a nosedive, plunging into experiences without thoughts of ramification. So this is also telling me that we sort of want to make sure that we are thinking things through clearly and slowing down and not, taking super impulsive actions throughout the course of this cycle. But again, the lesson here is being able to regain a sense of control. It's like something may be taking us, something may be, pulling us on some type of trajectory a little bit this cycle. And again, we have this Mercury square Saturn aspect going on, which I will talk more about as I get through this report. But our lesson here is that we are able to regain control of the situation. And specifically, this is going to be pertaining in a lot of ways, I feel like, to our thoughts, considering this is a Gemini cycle that we're in. This is an airplane that we're talking definitely about the air element, the mind, the thoughts. And again, Mercury is the highlight this cycle, which also rules the mind, the thoughts, the speech, the communication, our self-talk, our mental loops, stuff like that. We are learning to pull ourselves out of negative mental loops, perhaps, this cycle. But another interesting facet of the symbolism that is in play, like right off the bat, before we get into really analyzing the aspects of the chart, the Earth is at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. That Sabian symbol is a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. And so this is telling me that actually the things that are happening, the things that are transpiring, what we're overcoming essentially this cycle has a strong possibility to translate into some type of very important opportunity for us in one way or another. So on one hand, we're talking about the position of the sun and the moon today, an airplane performing a nosedive, but it doesn't say anything about a plane crash. It just says a nosedive. And then the position of the earth, we're talking about a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. So whatever lesson we are gaining over the course of this Gemini cycle, which Gemini is a sign of the teacher and lessons in learning, and being retrograde right now, this whole cycle we are reevaluating and reconsidering and rediscovering quite a bit. It is presenting some type of significant or golden opportunity to us as we go through this energy, go through these shifts, go through this change, go through this process of reevaluation and regain some type of control over whatever we need to at this point in time in the context of the unfolding of this energy, this cycle. So really interesting how the energy this new moon is presenting via the placement of the sun and the moon symbolically, and also the position of the earth. Now, like I said, the new moon itself happening 10 degrees of Gemini, not making any true aspects. We don't have anything in the air signs in early degrees. I mean, Gemini's an air sign, so nothing by trine, Libra, Aquarius, nothing in the mutable signs in the early degrees that would be forming the square aspects, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo. We have Neptune in the end of Pisces, but not making aspect to the new moon, the only real thing that we have sort of making a loose aspect is Mars and Jupiter together in the sign of Aries. This is a sextile. This is a skip a sign. Mars and Jupiter at 4 and 5 degrees of Aries. This new moon is happening at 10 degrees of Gemini. So it's quite a loose orb, but there is still a sextile loosely going on between this big, huge, powerful conjunction between Mars and Jupiter, and also this new moon that is happening in the sign of Gemini. And so, if you've been following my work, I've been talking quite a bit about the dynamic of Mars and Jupiter together, specifically in the sign of Aries. This is a sign that Mars rules. And this could be bringing up all cycle this very much expanded desire to fight for our personal truth, or to fight for our personal freedom, or to stand in our personal truth and assert ourselves in one way or another. Personal truth, personal freedom, really motivating action in some big ways, playing out this whole cycle. People also could be taking some very extreme or radical or over the top actions to assert their truth. This could also bring up, it is the sextile aspect. This is a positive and facilitating and assisting aspect. So, whatever we are reevaluating or rediscovering or reacquainting ourselves with in this retrograde energy, this cycle is getting a big boost of assistance from this expansion in personal truth that we are also coming to with this duo of planets right now in the sign of Aries forming the loose sextile. But it also, just the nature of Mars and Jupiter as well, like it also could be causing, and this is a Gemini cycle, talking about debates and conflicts, things going back and forth, arguments as well. It could be bringing some very heated, feisty, or explosive even perhaps, like again, debates, conflicts, arguments, things going back and forth, dialogues, conversations over this next period of time. But whatever is happening with those is likely again, to be being driven and motivated through this expanded sense of personal truth and a desire to really somebody put their foot down and speak their mind, and also a desire for people have to be liberated in some type of a way to take some type of action that they are feeling inspired to take at this point in time as well. And this could just be coming up in terms of these big, overblown, over the top, like dramatic expressions of emotion or of anger or of enthusiasm and stuff as well. This is also a positive and very beneficial aspect for it can be a lucky aspect. Like it can have a tendency of just like putting us at the right place or the right time, bringing some type of, like I've been saying, like lucky break or like fortunate action or something can also occur with Mars and Jupiter together, especially in the sign of Aries. However, with this being a Gemini cycle now and Mercury, the ruler of this Gemini cycle, in a square to Saturn, this actually may not be the best time to really be like investing or making any type of like important decisions or taking action based on important decisions at this point in time. We still have Mercury retrograde. We still are trying to gain all of the information and gain a sense of clarity about things. And Saturn and Mercury, in the square together, this can also bring disruptions in communication or slow down communication and transactions and bring some misinterpretations or difficulties with communicating and stuff like that. So we're kind of getting hit doubly with this misinterpretation, potential for confusion, difficulty communicating, difficulty understanding type energy right now that can really be, again, like slowing things down. So we really want to be careful making up our mind and taking action at this point in time, even though we really maybe feeling inspired to do so with this Mars-Jupiter energy that we have going on that is bisextile in a slight way feeding into this new moon in Gemini energy. Now, again, like I've said, Mercury, ruler of this cycle, retrograde right now, but making several aspects. Mercury is squaring Saturn, Mercury is sextiling Neptune, Mercury is trining Pluto, and actually the north node of the moon right now, which is the destiny point, which is very fated occurrences happening, the hand of God really, really orchestrating things, is at a midpoint between Mercury and Uranus, for this new moon. And also Mercury's placement at 27 degrees of Taurus is only 1 degree off from where that really powerful full moon lunar eclipse that we had last full moon in Scorpio was located. That happened at 26 degrees of Taurus in Scorpio, and Mercury's at 27 degrees of Taurus for this new moon today. So there is like a lot going on, even though the new moon itself is not specifically making a whole bunch of aspects. And like I said, Mercury's retrograde. This is a Gemini cycle. So the whole cycle, you guys, is definitely about reevaluating things and gaining a different sense of perception on stuff. Like I said, all of these Mercury retrograde themes are going to be applying to this whole cycle, essentially. And the position of Mercury, the degree where Mercury is located, 27 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is an old Indian woman selling beads and trinkets. And so again, this is telling me that this reevaluation that is going on right now has a lot to do with rediscovering, reconnecting with the truth of the value inside of us and the resources and the talent and the potential that we hold inside of us, and our ability to tap that and to cultivate it and to utilize it to create something physical, tangible that can serve us in the material world. This old Indian woman selling beads and trinkets that she has surely played some role in creating or bringing into, her possession in one way or another. She's probably made these beads, or she's probably created these trinkets that she's selling right now based on her own ability and her resources to do so within, that she has tapped and cultivated and used to produce something that she can use to serve herself in the material world. And with Mercury at this specific degree for this new moon that we have going on today, and retrograde as well, considering the other aspects that are playing out, which I will get into talking about in just a minute, I feel like, and being in the sign of Taurus as well, which is also about inner resources, inner potential that can be tapped and cultivated to build something physical and material that can provide a sense of safety or security or comfort or abundance in the 3D physical realms of this existence. So I feel like that is going to be a major theme in terms of what we're rediscovering, what we're reevaluating throughout the course of this cycle. Now, this main aspect that I've been talking about, though, Mercury forming the square to Saturn, Mercury 27 Taurus, Saturn 26 Aquarius. And again, these are fixed signs. So this is adding sort of an extra layer of resistance and stubbornness to the aspect as it's playing out. And this is a square also. 90-degree angles. Squares create conflict and tension and irritation and frustration, but ultimately it's for the purpose of helping us to break through something into a greater level of evolution, resolution in some type of a way. So with Mercury in the square to Saturn, this is definitely a heavier energy, you guys, and especially for the ruler of this cycle to be making this difficult aspect to Saturn. This is telling me again that things may feel a little bit more gloomy throughout the course of this cycle in one way or another, but there's a lesson encoded in this, entrenched in this, and I will get to that as we're going through this aspect also. So Mercury in square to Saturn. Of course, Mercury is the mind, our thoughts, our communication. Saturn is the lord of time, the lord of karma, and also rules discipline and boundaries and limitations and holding things back. It ultimately wants to refine things and to make them perfect and to bring them into their best and most beautiful form. Saturn also rules forms and foundations and structures things and also rules control. And so, with this energy on the plus side, there's a very practical, very disciplined way of thinking that is likely to be present with us all month long. We're likely to be even though Mercury is retrograde right now, we are likely to be, sort of paying attention to the details and really having a stronger ability to concentrate and stuff like that, this more disciplined thinking. But we don't want to let this practicality that can often be represented by this transit turn into this more narrow-minded viewpoint, narrow-minded perception, narrow-minded thinking, because that is what can start taking us on this, nosedive if we bring the original symbolism from the position of the sun and the moon back into it. This energy can make it more difficult to communicate with others and also to be understood, because we're talking about Saturn, the planet ruling challenges and limitations and things being just sort of held back and delayed, and Mercury, the messenger planet, which is also retrograde. So we're already dealing in this energy that is primed for miscommunications and misunderstandings and difficulty communicating. But then when we add the square to Saturn as well, this is like just an additional layer of difficulty in that process of clear and coherent and like in a timely manner type of thinking and understanding. So we definitely want to be double checking our communications. Negotiations and transactions, again, can also be delayed or really slowed down or held back in this energy, or misinterpreted as well. Also, as I was mentioning earlier, we're more likely to dwell upon these more heavy or difficult thoughts in this energy, which can lead to feelings of depression and pessimism about like the general state of our reality. We're likely, because of the narrow-minded focus that this energy has a tendency to result in, and in combination with the tendency towards pessimism and just a more depressed view of things, it can sort of have us feeling like the entire state of our reality is just really gloomy. Like this is all that there is, and this is all that there's ever going to be. Like it sort of removes our ability to think and feel optimistically about the current state of things. There can also be a strong tendency in this energy to feel isolated or to feel lonely. And again, like to see the glass half empty, to really be seeing the more darker side of life as though that is all there is, and just this more like downtrodden viewpoint of things. But again, we do have a very sharp mind, and we do have some very high standards that are likely to be presenting in this energy. Now we're talking again about the signs of Taurus and the signs of Aquarius, Mercury in Taurus, Saturn in Aquarius. This may bring up issues where we feel like our material or our physical circumstances right now, or our resources, are sort of like at odds with our goals and our plans for the future, with the progress that we're hoping to make. There may be definitely some aspect of financial, material limitation that we feel like is preventing us from moving forward and executing our goals or our plans, or making progress along a trajectory towards our future. This is something that could definitely be coming up in this energy with these planets, in these signs, in this aspect. And as a result of that, we may feel like we are failing at things, or that we are just not making progress, or that things are just moving too slow. And again, this aspect of time, like, could be playing out in a couple of different ways. Mercury, the fastest moving planet, ruling speed, is slowed down, going backwards. So this is it's just slowing things down generally. And we also have Mercury retrograde forming the square to Saturn, which again is the Lord of time. This square aspect, resistances, limitations, slowing things down. We may be struggling this cycle because we may not be perceiving the true trajectory of our growth and the vibrational changes that have been going on within us at this point in time. Like, we're going through a shift. Like, we're in such a state of vibrational flux right now, and we've been doing so much work, and we've been going through so many transformations, and we've been figuring so much out, and we've been changing so much. But in this energy, it may feel as though nothing's happening. And because of that, we may feel like we're like failing, or like it's all for nothing, or like it's not real, or like, we can't trust ourselves or something like that. But the truth of the matter is, it's sort of like the way I'm reading it energetically. It's like reality, because of the aspects that are in effect right now, like time has not caught up yet with the shifts that have been going on within us. And I feel like that's sort of like one of the lessons that is presenting for us this cycle, is that like, yes, like we may feel as though our progress is not showing itself right now. We may be experiencing a delay in terms of our physical reality matching the work that we've been doing and the shifts that have been going on inside of us. And that may be pulling us down, pulling our energy down, pulling our faith down. Like, it can also bring up these, again, like Mars and Jupiter together, Jupiter ruling faith, Mars ruling anger. It can be bringing up this sense of depression that could be contributing to the sense of depression as well, and making us like maybe question our faith in some type of a way if reality is not presenting in the way that we feel it should be as a result of all of the work that we've been doing and the changes that have been going on within us. There could be this time delay as a result of this retrograde Mercury energy and the square to Saturn energy. Saturn also rules karma. We've been going through massive amounts of karmic clearing right now too. Things may just be presenting in somewhat of a lag. And that may be the reason why we are feeling more depressed or more pessimistic or more like our reality is not matching up with what we had hoped for at this point in time. But again, this point in time, because time is moving slower than the shifts that are going on within us right now. And that is what may be bringing up these conflicts as well, in terms of like us viewing our forward progress as something that maybe isn't happening. And again, that's where I feel like this airplane with the nosedive symbolism comes into this as well. Like we may feel like we are just like crashing and burning, like everything that we thought was going to happen just isn't happening, or, you know, that as a result of like any of this is going on, we may feel ourselves being pulled down or pulled back into these like negative thought loops or something like that. But our lesson in this cycle is to realize that this is just a part of the process. Like this is just a part of our healing process. This is just a part of our process of rediscovery of self. And we just really sort of need to wait for this and have patience. Like Mercury retrograde square Saturn, like we need to cultivate some patience in this energy and work on those resources within us and not allow it to pull us off track, like not allow it to make us like crash and burn. We need to regain that control of ourselves in this energy, grab the steering wheel, pull ourselves back up into the air, and really just get our thoughts under control. Mercury thoughts, Saturn control in the 90-degree aspect. That is what is going to benefit us over the course of this cycle. And, you know, there is an aspect of faith playing into this as well. Like I said, we also have Mercury forming a sextile to Neptune in Pisces. Mercury at 27 degrees of Taurus, Neptune at 26 degrees of Pisces. This is a very close sextile. And so this is actually helping us mentally as well to stay more attuned to these spiritual matters. And it also positively stimulates the imagination. So, you know, while on one hand, our logical and linear mind may really be perceiving our circumstances as a bit of doom and gloom this cycle in this energy, we also have a strong ability to imagine the outcome that we want and to allow our mind to merge with some more spiritual ideas, some spiritual inspiration, that type of stuff going on as well. So we also have Mercury in the aspect to Neptune that is helping us on the side of this. And another aspect, we do still have Mercury in a trine to Pluto. This energy has been playing out for a while because Mercury has been transiting slowly in his retrograde process. Mercury at 27 Taurus, Pluto at 29 Capricorn. And this is all about, in the signs of Taurus and Capricorn, this is all about value and power, internalized mental transformations, and finding things out that help return and restore our sense of internal value, and therefore self-empowerment, the power that we view ourselves as embodying as well. And this Mercury-Pluto transit that we've had going on for a while has really been helping us to get to the root of our own issues and to really rediscover who we really are, like our authentic truth and what we stand for, and also what we represent, like what we're made of, what we're built from, what is the nature of the resources that we have inside, and how strong and powerful are we as a result of that to create and recreate something for ourselves that can help us persevere down this new path despite the difficulties that may be presenting at this point in time. So very interesting series of aspects that we have playing out in relation to the position of Mercury for this new moon. Now, the last aspect that I'm sort of looking at in terms of Mercury is the fact that we do have Mercury as one of the planets that is straddling the North Node for our new moon today. We have Uranus on one side, 17 degrees of Taurus. We have Mercury on the other side, 17 degrees of, or 27 degrees of Taurus. And then we have the North Node. Again, this is the future. This is the path ahead. This is destiny. This is where we're being pulled to at this point in time. This is the next phase of growth at 22 degrees of Taurus, right in between these two planets. And so with our ruler being on one side, Uranus, the great awakener, the ruler of our transcendence into the age of Aquarius right now, on the other side. And really, Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury energy as well. I feel like there are fated awakenings and realignments that are also playing out this cycle. Remember, Mercury is also only 1 degree off from where the lunar eclipse was that we recently just had. Fated awakenings, Uranus, and realignments, and what we are learning and coming to understand and awaken to this cycle is really changing the course and the direction of our future. There is some major adjustments underway this cycle. There's a major turning point this cycle in terms of the trajectory of our future, in terms of the way that these aspects are playing out. And that also may be why things are slowing down right now. That may also be why we're not seeing the accurate reflection in terms of the manifestations of the inner work that we've been doing right now. That may be why we're perceiving our situations as, not moving forward, or a little bit more gloomy, like I've used several times at this point in time. But again, there are realignments happening right now, and it is happening in divine timing and in this more divine order. But these changes are likely to be quite significant that are happening throughout the course of this month. And we're also talking about a Gemini cycle. Gemini rules, choices, and decisions, and options as well. And in the square to Saturn, this could be some very difficult choices or decisions or discussions, conversations, questions that are coming up, options that we have to sort of comb through. Might be another reason why we're sort of getting the universal brakes put on things this cycle, because maybe we really need to take some extra time to do this internal reevaluation, or to rediscover whatever it is that we are needing to rediscover in this energy, or whatever realignments need to go on. Like, maybe we are really just not supposed to be rushing forward right now. And that may be a little bit difficult too, as well, with Mars and Jupiter in Aries. That is like some big forward movement. That is like some big hardcore action pushing us forward. But simultaneously, we have all of this limiting, energy, holding back energy as well. So I feel like, it's really important that we are not making these overly impulsive choices and decisions right now, and that we are really making sure that we are understanding things properly, and that we are coming from a place of authentic personal alignment before we make any choice, decision, or choose an option, essentially, as this cycle plays out. We may also be facing some very hard or difficult facts or truths this cycle as well, with this square going on between Mercury and Saturn during a Gemini cycle, struggling to overcome these negative thoughts that may be pulling us down and actually sabotaging our progress. That's another thing we want to watch out for, is like sabotaging our own progress out of a perception of lack of progress, you guys. We don't want to align internally to that feeling, to that vibration, because that will perpetuate that vibration. And that is one of the lessons I feel like we're learning as we are pulling ourselves out of this nosedive, and recognizing the golden opportunity, the golden option, the golden choice, the golden decision that may be presenting itself to us as we go through the course of this energy and it unfolds. Rediscovering our value, but doubting its meaning. That might be something as well that we are sort of dealing with in this energy. It sort of might feel like we still don't have enough of whatever, Taurus, a sign of resources, money, value, all of that, to make our goals work in one way or another. And this also may come across as like a difficulty manifesting our ideals into reality in a productive way at this point in time, just because of the Taurus and the Aquarius sign placements and the planets. Mercury, our ideas. Saturn, grounded material, form, building, structuring, manifestation. We may be struggling with turning our ideas into reality in a grounded, practical, tangible way, physical way in this energy as well. On like a grander scale, like on a more collective level, this could definitely be bringing up major issues with supply chains, resources, transactions, finances, financial institutions, money, things going back and forth, travel, trips, restrictions, limitations on all of these things. This could be bringing up issues with rules and regulations as well. But specifically in regards to, it could have to do with both like the trajectory of the future in one way or another, Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, and also specifically these resource-based like resources, supply chains, food, finances, material comforts, material pleasures, material like items, like all of that type of stuff could definitely be experiencing some type of limitation, some type of slowdown more again throughout the course of this cycle. So that is something that I wanted to note as well. And ultimately, we also have Venus in kind of a unique position for this new moon in Gemini. She's only 1 degree off conjunction from the Chiron point, actually, 4 degrees of Taurus in the sign of Taurus. Venus rules the heart, Chiron rules the hero's journey and also wounding, healing, but the growth and the wisdom that can come from that. And with Venus in it ruling again the heart and love and also money, finances, relationships in a conjunction to the Chiron point, this cycle could also represent some type of heart healing that is going on, or a restoration of value or peace in regards to relationships or in regards to financial situations, financial circumstances and stuff like that. But on the flip side, it could also be bringing up some financial or relationship or resource or value based issues, wounds that are sort of surfacing so that they can be acknowledged and like wisdom gained through experience, learned about, alleviated in this energy as well. So that is also an indication to me that there could be financial struggles as well going on this cycle. But again, it's for the purpose of helping us to really discover the value that we hold inside of us and our own internal resources, and heal our own heart and restore our own sense of value through this recognition of that truth in one way or another, which leads us on this path to self-enlightenment, self-empowerment, self-mastery, and ultimately co-creation of God and universe, which is the trajectory we are heading on right now anyways, as we are in a paradigm shift leading into the age of Aquarius. So that's basically what I have to say, you guys, for our new moon chart and how it's playing out for us today. Again, this sense of needing to regain control over our own mind, Mercury in the square to Saturn this cycle, and the airplane performing the nosedive to help pull ourselves out of any type of negative mental loop that may appear as though it is sabotaging our progress right now, or like leading us towards some type of imminent disaster. There's nothing in this symbolism about any type of plane crash. Actually, what's in this symbolism is performing a nosedive, insinuating an ability to come out of the nosedive before the crash happens, and also the golden-haired goddess of opportunity in this Gemini cycle, which is very much about options, opportunities, possibilities as well. Things might seem stagnant for sure. That's a good way to describe this energy. Things might seem stagnant. Things might seem a bit slow in terms of the progress that we are trying to make towards our goals at this point in time. But that I really feel like is just because the material, physical 3D plane has not yet caught up with the shifts and the transformations that have been going on a, vibrational, energetic, more like 5D level. And so we don't want to allow the perceived sense of stagnation to interfere or to sabotage our own progress that is really happening at this point in time. So we're not so much attaching to the physical presentation of things in this energy, and we really need to try to use this Mercury in the sextile to Neptune to attune ourselves more to the spiritual planes and to use our imagination to pull ourselves out of what may be a more dreary like physical circumstance as this energy unfolds. But it is ultimately trying to heal us, trying to restore the value within us, trying to really bring us to a greater and elevated perception of truth and reality in this energy. And remember, we do have Mars and Jupiter in a conjunction all cycle. There is likely to be a strong desire to fight for our personal truth, to fight to follow our own authentic direction in a very independent way. And these feelings are likely to be motivating a lot of the conversations and the back and forths that we're sort of having at this point in time. And again, with the North Node as the midpoint between Mercury and Uranus this cycle, and Mars and Jupiter together also, people may be taking some extreme or radical or over-the-top actions, choices, decisions, options, changes in a as a result of this need to exert or assert their truth in one way or another. So that's what I have to say, you guys, for the energy as it is playing out for this new moon cycle. Should be an interesting cycle, but we just need to not allow ourselves to get too frustrated or too impatient if we feel like things aren't happening quick enough. Now, I'm not doing tarot today, but I am going to draw us a synchronicity card and see if there is a message that we should carry with us throughout the course of this cycle that can benefit us in our navigation of these energies, or perhaps these delays that we may be experiencing, these conflicts or these frustrations. Let's see if there is one card that wants to come out for us today. There it is. Okay. Oh my God. Like, you literally can't make this up, you guys. Look what the card says. It says wait. Unbelievable. You guys watched me shuffle. That just happened. It says, wait on the Lord and he shall save thee. Proverbs 20:22. And you guys, look at that. 2022. That is our year. That is our 222 year. I feel like there's some significance in this message. It says, relax, let go, and let God. Don't struggle to make things happen before they are ready to happen. Wait and be assured everything is working together for your good. Now is not the right time to advance. Wait in faith and expectancy of the very best. Know that when the time comes to advance, you will be directed to say and do the right thing. So there it is, you guys, like the exclamation point at the end of the sentence, the cherry on top of the sundae. Our directive this month is to wait, and that is also very, very much so being indicated, in my opinion, by the aspects and the transits that are unfolding as well. So that's what we got, you guys. Energy from the stars, the message from God, universe, great spirit, for this new moon in Gemini lunar cycle. I hope you guys liked this. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you a little bit of whatever you need as you're navigating the energy this month. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, you guys, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I love your feedback. I love hearing what you have to say. Thank you again so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have more energy to talk about as we open this week that began with our new moon in Gemini. Have a beautiful day, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.